Hey, Rudy, thanks for stopping by my house
My
and
pleasure, man.
talking with me. You started your career as a musician, I guess, when you were like 13 years old,
Yeah,
just outside of L.A.?
I was a kid. Yeah, just had a garage band, a couple garage bands, Just always wanted to be the entertainer, clown, Yeah.
And how did you ended up opening for some big musical acts?
Well, when I started back in '91, I'd already been working, at a regular job, a 9-to-5 thing, and got hurt at work and decided I'm going to go into comedy, or try it anyway. And I thought, oh, this is going to be really good, because the first gig was with Paul Rodriguez, and the second gig was with the Temptations. So I said, this is on, and then the third gig was at a Pollo Loco somewhere. So, I was like, well, wait a minute, this is going the wrong direction. But yeah, I got to open for a few big names, when I started doing this, and I thought, well, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
This is going to be cool.
I was impressed. Natalie Cole, Los Lobos, and all these guys.
Yeah.
And then they told you that they wanted you to continue opening for them as their comedian, or?
Right. I got to work with Bobby Caldwell and Natalie Cole and Los Lobos and a few others. Smokey Robinson, and it kind of was by word of mouth. Get this guy to open, and so it was kind of fun. And then I started traveling, so I wasn't doing as many openings for them. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was cool, man.
Yeah. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you when I was working for the Sheriff's Department. You did a lot of philanthropic work and fundraisers for the sheriffs and all the police, LAPD, and you've given a lot of your time to fundraisers and functions. That's how I met you, and it was such a pleasure. And then
was that the story we're going to go with?
Yeah. We don't want to go there. Yeah. I don't want to go into the crime life.
I used to do a lot of stuff, and I still continue to do things that way, because this comedy thing is a vehicle to use for charities and people that need to laugh, and people that need to raise funds, and it's easier than you're trying to be a musician. But I'm a musician on the side, and that's a pain, man, because comedy, you walk in, you go to the mic, you do your 20 minutes, you leave, you get paid, and you're gone, right? This other thing, man, I'm carrying and picking up stuff.
You got equipment, there's five guys you got to depend on, or gals, or whoever. And I was impressed because you were, it's been 30 years you've hosted a Latino Night at the Ice House, famous Ice House in Pasadena.
Not quite 30, but
25 plus years.
It's going to be 18 years.
Oh, 18 years, all right.
18 years, yeah.
And even though it's a Latino night, you help other, I know you had me on the show. I mean, I may look Latino, but I'm really not. But you do a lot to help other comedians.
Well, the purpose, it started off as a Latino thing, because there wasn't a Latino-based night for in any comedy clubs. They didn't want to do that because they felt that it wasn't, they wouldn't draw. But the Ice House is located in the San Gabriel Valley, which is surrounded by so many cities that they're centralized. I mean, to the Latino community. So, in order to draw those people into the club, we started off as a Latino night. But then eventually we got away from that and just made it a general night, and everybody was able to work, Asians, Caucasians, Black comics, Latino comics. So it was more of an open forum as opposed to just, just a Latino thing. So, but it started off like that. It's been good, man. It's been there for 18 years. We're still packing it out. So
one of the major iconic clubs where George Carlin started there many years ago.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And then here you've been a headliner there for over 18 years.
Yeah.
And how do you have a lot of celebrities that stop by your shows, like Arsenio Hall, Paul Rodriguez, some major players in the.
It's funny because you figure that the celebrities don't hear what the working comic's doing, but somehow the word gets out. And one night, not to drop a bunch of names, but one night we had about 5 or 6 celebrities just come in. Louis Anderson, Roseanne, Arsenio, George Lopez walked in. Everybody was popping in the same night. So what they had heard is that on this particular night, that the room gets packed. And during the week, you go to any comedy club, and if there's not anybody that's really a big headliner or a nationally known headliner, you might get 40 people in there.
Right.
But we were getting 200 people every week.
Amazing, yeah.
So the word got out, and then the celebrities started to pop in. So it kind of gave us some credibility too. So
What led to your appearance on the George Lopez Show? That was a big night.
That was kind of strange. I've known George for a number of years. Before he was famous, we used to work together all the time, and we'd talk, and he'd run in. And then I was opening for him one year on the road for the entire year, and then he got the show, and then once the show on ABC, and then that ran its course. Then he got the talk show, and he had me actually on both shows. But the talk show thing, he called me like the day before and said, "Get ready, you're coming in tomorrow to do a set." And I was like, "Wait a minute, man! I need a couple days to go work out, go to the club, do something." And he said, "No, I'll see you tomorrow at 5." So sure enough, car pulled up and I was ready to go. So
Wow.
yeah, and at the time my hands were burned from an accident that I had, so I didn't want to go on camera with burned hands. So I wore gloves, so I looked like a burglar or something.
I saw the black gloves. I wondered
Yeah.
why. I didn't ever.
Yeah,
I just figured that was
either
your
working
thing.
for the mafia
Yeah,
or
I thought you
was
probably
a
just did a
burglar.
job. I didn't know.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't want to leave any fingerprints. So yeah.
Great.
Yeah, that's cool.
So now you're one of the few who also you're an actor also. You've been on several. You have a
Right.
whole
Yeah.
lineage of TV shows that you've been on. So do you have a separate agent for your TV work? or-
No, well, actually, it's the only agent I have, and all of my comedy is done through my company. But the acting, I kind of fell into that. I started off doing it with the stand-up, and then we would do a couple of TV shows with the stand-up, and some people came up to me and said, "Look, I want you for this part on a show called Sybil."
Sybil, I remember
Sybil
Sybil,
Shepherd,
yeah.
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 So it was my first show, man. I was nervous as all hell, and they were very nice to me. So I kind of got that bug, and I said, I want to do some more of this. So then the other shows are coming up, ER, and
Yeah.
and so every show that I've been on has been canceled. So I'm like the kiss of death, man. But
Well, they all get canceled eventually.
yeah, but
Yeah.
but it seems once I was on there, that was
No,
it. Right?
nothing to do with you, Rudy.
Well, all right, I'll take that. But yeah, man, it was good. So now it was the music, and then comedy, and now acting. So it was just things that I've always wanted to do as a kid. But the reality set in. I had to get a regular job. I had to, I had a family and I had to support them. So I wasn't sure how
Yeah.
comedy was going to do that. But eventually, that's what I do now. So
Yeah, and you made the decision, I don't know when, because I don't know if people know, when you're a comedian, usually within like 50 miles of LA, they're all showcase clubs, like the Laugh
Right.
Factory, the Comedy Store. They already have Tim Allen, Dane Cook stopping by for
Right.
free, so the paid spots are not much. So comedians have to travel around to get those corporate gigs and the road gigs,
Right.
or the cruises now.
Right.
But you made a decision to stay locally and make your money, and it's a
Right.
struggle. Right?
Well, yeah, it's a struggle if you're new to the game. I did the road for, I don't know, 15 years,
Oh, okay,
20 years,
yeah.
something like that. So it's a young man's game.
Yeah, for
to be on
sure.
the road like that, and especially after 2000, with 9/11, it was just difficult to try to get to the airport. If you were running to get on time, man, you had to be there 2-3 hours early because, of all the
security
things, all
issues now.
security issues.
Yeah.
So, but once you figure that if you can make your own work and you can create your own business, you don't necessarily need to be going out, to Florida to the Ha Ha Hole,
Right.
or to the Laugh Chuck or
Yeah.
Laugh Hut or whatever it's called, because as it is, they're not paying what they used to be. It's like when you go to Vegas and they go, "Hey, we want you to play in Vegas," and you get excited as a comic, "I'm going to be in Vegas," and you get there and they're giving you 12 cents.
Yeah,
and
it's-
you go, "Wait a minute, what is this?"
Yeah,
How many shows? Well, we want you to do 14 shows in a week. That's 2 shows a night, every night.
yeah.
And I'm getting what? $800? No, man, So some guys will do it for the prestige. Some guys will do it because they want to get started. But if you can create your own work and create your own shows locally, then more power to you. It can be done, and you can make a living
Yeah.
out of it. Yeah.
I see now you're producing shows all over. You have your own rooms that you're running. You book
Right.
your own rooms, and now you're once again you continue to help the new comics. You got a class that you do out of the Ice House.
Right. Yeah. Because all the old comics are old, and we've already heard of it. So we encourage people that just like you and I, we were funny kids, or we were funny when
Yeah.
we were younger, and why not use that?
Yeah.
If you could make a living out of that or a career, why not try it? So we're trying to teach them the do's and don'ts. Not so much if you come to my class, you're going to be a working comic right away.
Right.
I tell them that at the beginning. You come to my class, I'm going to tell you what you should do and what you shouldn't do, and here's the business end, okay? Here's what you got to do and be successful. Because going from here into a club, there's a bunch of bikers. Nothing wrong with bikers, love bikers. But if you go in there and you're cussing away, and you're never going to get a shot on TV. You're never going to do the corporate gigs. You're never going to do the
Yeah.
A clubs. You'll be at Hector's Comedy Night
Yeah.
somewhere, in the hood.
I notice your students that you're teaching them not only to write comedy, perform it, and like you said, the business, doing their time, You know, and now a couple of your students, I see they're on tour, they're running around the circuit already.
Right.
They're being very successful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, so it's just the thing. You come to the class, you listen. You know, I've been doing this 25 years. It's
Yeah.
not like I learned it last week.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if I come and I tell you the A, B, and C of it, and then you decide to go elsewhere, well, then, you know, it's not going to work. You may follow what I taught you and find some success. You know, I'm not saying necessarily you do what I do that you'll be a millionaire. But I've worked with a lot of guys that came in and that are very successful now. You know, Gabriel Iglesias being one of them.
Oh my God, yeah.
This guy left us all behind. You know?
Unbelievable, yeah. Jeez.
So, but you know, I know we all want to take credit for his success, but the truth of the matter is he learned it from the older guys at that time. You know, that were in the business 10 years when he got here. So
and he took action on what he learned. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, how can they get a hold of you for the school? I mean,
money. No.
Oh, money. Yeah.
No, they can contact me on my website, Rudy@rudymoreno.com.
RudyMoreno.com.
Yeah, or you know, they can find me on Facebook or call the Ice House. Yeah. So.
What's nice is you not only do they go to the class and they learn all these things, then you provide them an opportunity to get stage time. So,
right.
I mean, you're giving them an avenue to actually get to work from the class.
Well, yeah, because it's a matter of theory versus practice. So you can sit there and read all your notes all day long and not do anything if you got to go up on stage. I encourage them, go to open mics, man.
Yeah.
You know, go to this club, go to that club, go to a wedding, go to a birthday party. Just go up and do it. And the more you go up, the more comfortable you get, and then you know you'll fall into your rhythm, and you'll learn what your style is. Don't try to, you know, emulate somebody else. That's what happens a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of guys come in, they want to be, Sinbad, or they want to be a Carlos Mencia and stuff. It doesn't work. You have to be yourself, because whatever happened to you, your experience is what's funny. You try to write that down, it's not going to happen. You know that.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's good that you're telling them to go to the open mics, because sometimes that's a different ball game. It's maybe just a bunch of other comedians, 2 people in the audience, but you're giving them these venues where you know how to operate a room, where you're getting a real audience. It's crowded. You get, and then you have touring comedians who are also coming on the show, and they're teaching these guys. It's an advanced class once they can continue after your class.
Yeah, and we've had a pretty good success rate. It's been about 90% guys working, you know.
Yeah, great.
Some guys that take it and they go, oh, okay, that was fun. And, you know, they don't do it anymore. But the guys that have followed up on it are working.
Yeah.
They're working more than I am.
So, but now I see you're doing some more musician stuff.
Yeah, I kind of got into the mix again. Some guys I grew up with, actually, we had been playing guitars at the house in the backyard, you know, maybe sitting around like this, and decided to start a band. And as ridiculous as it sounded, it's been a lot of fun.
Fantastic.
We look like a Viagra commercial. The old guys just, you know, but it's been fun, you know.
A lot of guys. Steve Martin, he plays the banjo. He's got his band, and Billy Bob Thornton's got a band. He plays locally.
Right.
And Rudy Moreno now, you got your band. So.
And it's funny that, excuse me, guys that are musicians want to be comedians.
It's weird.
And guys that are comedians want to be musicians. I mean, there's a lot of cats that we work with, Luke Torres, and others that you know are musicians as well. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
So I don't know, man. It's just, you know.
So what's next? Just you continue on what you're doing, acting.
Well,
and
you know, right now, I'm hoping to produce a couple more shows this year on a different level, like a theater show, or I'm working on a one-man show. I have been working on a one-man show for 5 years now, and I keep rewriting it. But got a couple of offers to put that on its legs.
Good.
And hopefully we'll do that, you know, this summer.
I love it.
And got a new agent, so let's see how that works. So
it's going to work out
man,
great
we're looking
for
forward
you.
to that.
Much success coming your way, and thanks for everything you do for helping other comedians like myself. And
well, thank you.
You're always
You're
open,
welcome.
and I appreciate it. Would you say one of the keys, maybe for somebody watching, for young comedians, is relationships? Like you had a relationship with George Lopez prior to his show, and then when the show happens, it was a natural thing to have you on. So
yeah, pretty much. You know, it's all about relations, man. It's a business.
Yeah.
You know, have relations have a relationship with the club owner, or the general manager, or the people that run the club, other comics, because comics are the worst at gossip, man. You know that.
Yeah.
And if they don't know something, they make it up. So what you want to do is be good with everybody, and it's all about relationships, man.
Fantastic.
It's all about relationships, and that'll move you on to success.
So that's step one, Rudy. Somebody wants to get into stand-up comedy. What do they do?
I think first of all they want to do it, okay? Because it's a thing that you want to do it. And most comics are about the attention, right? So if you've been a guy or a kid that's been involved with, trying to make people laugh, you're funny at work, you're funny at home, amongst the family, you kind of have the natural thing to do it. So you can either take the class, and I'm not pushing the class itself, I'm not really.
I'm pushing the class.
Yeah, you're pushing the class.
Yeah.
But if the class isn't available, then you start by going to open mics, and you start doing 3 minutes. You go home, you listen to what you did, you record it, and you listen to what you did. Take out all the jokes that didn't work, replace them with new jokes. Go back to the open mic, try it now with the new jokes. If that works, good, keep them. If it doesn't work, put something else. But you have to continuously go, get your 5 minutes, and once you have your 5 minutes, then you can go into a club and say, look, I want to open, I'm an opener. And use that same process till you get to 45 minutes and you become a headliner.
Yeah, so there's a whole structure, the comedy world. Basically, you have your MC.
Right.
You have your feature act that usually does, 20 to 30.
20, 30.
And then you have your headliner that does 45 to an hour. And it's kind of the basic structure
That's
everywhere.
It. Right.
And you may not have an MC, you may just have an opener.
Right.
And usually the shows run like 60 to 90 minutes.
Usually about 90 minutes, yeah. Usually 90 minutes. So it's the stronger comic is always the headliner, of course. But if you're going to get started, I suggest that's what you do, because if you try to just walk in somewhere and start to tell jokes and not know the structure or not know how to put the set together, you're going to die. You're not going to get any jokes. You're not going to get any laughs. And what happens is you get discouraged, and now you don't want to go back.
Right, and that'll beat you up, and you'll stop.
Yeah, if you have the tools, then you go, well, okay, maybe wasn't that funny, but I'm going to go back because I know what to do here, A and B. Then you'll start to find, laughs and success, and that'll kind of encourages you, and you'll go back and do it again. Yeah.
You kind of got to know going in. Maybe only 2 out of these 20 jokes will work.
Right.
Keep those 2, and then I write 10 more, and then, like you say, you build your time.
Right.
Till you get to you can.
I really encourage you to record yourself.
Yeah.
Because if not, you get into bad habits, and you go, this joke doesn't work. Well, you've been doing it 10 times, nobody's laughing.
Get it out of there.
Get out of there.
It's not going to work the 11th time.
No. Right, exactly. Write something else, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good advice. And then try to start to be the feature or the MC, because you get that stage time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that'll propel you to work harder and try to get a different position in a lineup. So.
Yeah, and eventually decide where you want to get to, whether you want to be like a road comic or you want to be the feature, you want to be the headliner. And of course, as you ascend the ladder of success, then pay goes up, so you want to keep going to the next level. Yeah. And you're doing a lot of corporate work too, right? That seems like where a lot of money is, at the corporate market.
That's always good, and that's why I encourage comics to work clean. Because if you work clean, you get more work. There was a comic named Larry Omaha. I think you know Larry.
I know Larry very well,
When I started, he says, because I would cuss out of being nervous. I would go up there and F this. And,
it's just a filler kind of thing,
And he says, you're not going to get anywhere like that. He says, you got to work clean. And the cleaner you work, the more work you get. You'll start getting corporate gigs. What's the difference with a corporate gig? And then they showed me the check. And I went, oh, that's the difference.
That's the difference.
Yeah, it's got more zeros on
this
one. So... because if you start working for Toyota or General Mills or any of these companies, they'll pay you nicely because to go up there and entertain them.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go up there cussing and talking about how much you drank and how many drugs you took and all that,
they're very strict on who they hire, and
it's
if the act is clean. I know some of the big celebrities even get noticed to clean up their act, or they won't have them.
Yeah, that happens on the cruises too. Ships.
Cruise ships.
Yeah, which it's a good thing, man. You don't want to be going up there. And
what's your writing process?
I don't have much of a writing process. It's more things that had happened to me, and just experiences, and then I'll bounce it off somebody. What do you think about this?
Without them knowing that you're trying something is important. Yeah.
And sometimes it's character driven or something. So I'll say, hey, man, because this way you don't have to do the same stuff.
Right.
But if I'm doing a set, of course, I stick to the script that I have.
Right.
And I'm a genius.
Yeah, I'm a genius. I'm a genius.
So,
now I know when I've been featuring and opening for the main act, some headliners don't do any crowd work because they don't want to get the audience into the habit of talking.
Right.
And so you kind of got to, as the feature, you are doing your job as the opener, and you kind of have to know what your headliner wants.
Right. Yeah. The headliner will tell you, look, don't do jokes about your wife. Don't do jokes about growing up in this particular. It might be similar.
You might be stepping on.
Yeah. So you have to, as a feature, you have to kind of clear it with the headliner, And some people go, who's this guy, man? You know, it's the headliner. That's why he's the headliner. But
Yeah.
you got to respect that,
Yeah.
because that's kind of the rules within the game. You know, it's like the opener. He comes in and starts demanding stuff. You know, I want to do. Hey, man, you've been doing this 5 minutes. Get out of here. You know?
Yeah.
Find somebody in a parking lot that's as funny as you. 'Cause
Yeah, I notice if the headliner can count on you to do your job, then you'll get more work as the opener.
right.
But then it's a double-edged sword because you want to get to the point where the headliner really doesn't want to hire you because you're so good.
Right.
You should be headlining. So
Exactly.
you kind of get to the point where you want to get fired for being an opener.
Yeah, it's kind of a bittersweet situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, that's okay. Because,
Yeah, that's all right.
You know, that's what you're in it for.
That's what you're trying to get
yeah.
to.
Yeah. So otherwise, you'll remain the
You
feature
remain
act.
at the feature, and you won't
for
be
this
getting to
guy
that
forever,
next-
yeah.
Yeah, and you don't want that.
And he's making the money. You're still getting feature money. You know.
Yeah,
You go,
absolutely.
Wait a
yeah.
minute. I've been doing this for 5 years for this guy now. You know.
It really, and that seems to be, it's the sweet spot. The feature is really the sweet spot.
Oh, yeah.
You're after the MC. They're kind of warmed up a little bit, and now you get to do your 20 to 30 minutes. But yet, I mean, the headliner's got to do 45 to an hour, and then he's got to do what they call the bill drop, right? When they drop
Yeah.
the bill,
Yeah, that's always fun.
he's got to kind of have it somewhere people can't pay attention, right? They're
Yeah.
doing their bill. I mean, they got to go through all that,
Right.
and then they got to kill him at the end and leave everybody wanting more.
Right.
It's a tough spot, really.
Yeah. Always end big. Yeah.
Yeah, got to end big, yeah.
Excuse me. Because you go through 45 minutes. I mean, you may not have killed in 45 minutes, but that last joke.
Yeah.
You know, if you blow it up with that last joke, this guy's great.
yeah.
You know, he was lousy for 40 minutes, but the end joke was great.
Yeah, that's all they remember.
Yeah.
I was watching Kathy Griffin and somebody else, but have you ever had times when you bombed or it's not going well? Or?
Oh, please. Yeah, man. That's the first thing I tell the class. I said, look, you know, at some point you're going to bomb.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing about this gig. If you don't get a gold watch at the end of 30 years, you don't. You know, if you can be great. You can have 2 shows that night. The first one you can just kill, and then come out the second time and just die. There's no rhyme or reason for that. Nobody knows, why, but it happens. And oh man, I've been in a place where the night before I was just killing, man. You know, went out there and it's crickets. You know, and you want to ask, hey, what happened? You know, but you don't.
And sometimes it's the same material. It could be a crowd dynamic or something that happened during the day, or you never know.
Could have been the feature. No.
Could have been the feature, obviously. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No, but it's just yeah.
I talked to Dennis Blair, who was George Carlin's opener for
Yeah, I
20
know Dennis,
years.
the guitar player.
Yeah, so I asked him if George ever bombed. He goes, "Oh man, did he ever?" He goes, "Yeah, he
Yeah.
would bomb," but it never bothered him a bit.
Yeah, no,
He didn't
George
care.
Carlin was one of the greats,
I
man.
did my thing, and that's all that matters. You know.
yeah.
So you got to have a thick skin, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've had people threaten me from the crowd, just drunk guys, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky enough not to get punched
Yeah.
or get something thrown at me, but it's been close, you know.
Yeah, and you're very, I guess, jovial, or I mean, just a happy, good feeling. You know, you leave the
Yeah.
crowd feeling good. But
Thanks, man.
yeah, but I mean, people even will attack that, right? I mean,
Yeah, sure. You know, I'm a big target. So,
Let me ask you this: so when you go, let's say you do a spot at the Laugh Factory where, Tim Allen stopped by and Dane Cook has stopped by, and then you're doing your set, and then maybe you kill it before or after them. Is there any animosity from them or the?
what? It was always, from the stars?
Yeah.
Oh, you always get animosity, man. You know.
No kidding, yeah.
Yeah, Jerry Seinfeld. I was at the Laugh Factory and did had a pretty good set. And they said, "Well, Jerry Seinfeld's coming in, pop in," and I said, "Hey, how you doing, Mr. Seinfeld?" And he looked at me up and down. You know, I don't know if it was because of my set,
Yeah.
or if he was just doing a celebrity thing that they do. You
Yeah.
know? But as far as there's camaraderie amongst comics
Yeah.
to a point, but everybody's got this competition, this competitive spirit
Yeah.
in them. Because if you go up before me and you killed, then I'm going to have to be a little better than what you just did,
Yeah.
because I'm not going to follow you and die. So whatever it takes. But sometimes it gets out of hand, you know. Sometimes it gets stupid.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's always competition, man.
Well, out of all the comedians that I've worked with and talked to and met, you and maybe just a few others have had the attitude, I want you to kill.
Right.
I want you to make me work. So some people like yourself, you want the person opening for it, go ahead, I want you to kill, because it gives me something to work for, and I can do it.
It just makes the show that much better.
Yeah, it does. It makes the show
Yeah,
better.
it makes the show great. So next time when they say, you guys were good, next year we're going to have this thing again. So can you guys come back? Or do you have other guys or something? Because we know this show is going to be good. That's like the thing at the Ice House. There's a lot of comics that hit me up for spots, but I know they haven't worked as hard, or they haven't developed their craft. So it's like, look, you're not ready yet, man. You know, well, why? How come this guy's there all the time? Well, he's funny. And every show that I've had there, I've had, I don't know, 2,000-3,000 shows there over the years. And, you know, everybody knows when they go to that show or they go to one of my productions, it's going to be funny.
Yeah.
It's not going to be half.
I was going to say, you have a tremendous respect for the audience. You want, because maybe they only come to one show a year, and you want them to, you want them to have the best comedy show that they have seen. So very respectful of the audience and that they see a great show.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad you.
That's why you've been a success, I think, over so many years there.
I hope.
Yeah.
Hope that's it.
Well, I noticed that you kind of structure the lineup. You kind of know if it goes down here, you got somebody coming behind that person to just hit it out of the park, and you know there may be, if there's a dive here, I'm going to bring it right back up.
Yeah. I hope so. I hate to get stuff thrown at me. You
know? Because it hurts when you get older.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Thanks again, Rudy, for coming by,
man.
man.
My pleasure, man. Thanks so much. Thank you. Yeah.
Everybody should go to your website, rudymoreno.com, and they can find out about the class and where you're appearing next and all your shows, man.
Sure.
Thanks for your service.
Come and see Cliff Yates. He'll be there.
Maybe I'll get a spot, and give me a minute or two. You know what I mean? That's
we'll do that.
I got 30 seconds. I could probably stretch to a minute.
Yeah, we'll do that. Hey, we got a minute for you, man.
All right. Thanks for coming
Thanks for
by,
having
man.
me, Cliff.
Appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure, man. Thank you. Good luck to you.
All right.